Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Adrienne Warren, and tonight we are honoring the power of women, all women. This past week, we marked 100 years since these words were enshrined in our Constitution. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. It sounds simple enough. But the ensuing century has seen barrier after barrier still blocking many women from the vote. Rock the Vote, Sisters Rising, and an amazing array of partner organizations have brought us together tonight to inspire us with powerful messages and music, to educate us, and to showcase rising female stars. With their help, we'll imagine what we can achieve in the next 100 years. Throughout the evening, we'll be calling on you to act, to register to vote, to double check that you're registered, and to invite friends to join you. You can do all of that on rockthevote.org or by texting RISE to 788-683.
For all the mothers fighting for better days to come,
and all my women sitting here trying to come home before the sun.
The 19th Amendment of the Constitution,
also known as Women's Right to Vote, states, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex."
My vote matters. Your vote matters. Her vote matters. Our votes matter.
I am a superwoman. Yes, I am. Yes, she is. Still one of my best. I still put on a vest with an S on my chest. Oh yes, I'm a superwoman. Yes, she is.
Okay. Take you back, it's the year 1920. Yeah, progress is made, minus color and inclusivity. The journey of equality amongst all women took many more years to give us all permission to speak for the silence and hand in hand we united, still fighting for the day when it's equal and less divided with the power that's been given. We have duty, it's our mission that we make our voice count. Who's a part of the decisions? Yeah, 'cause
I am a superwoman. Yes, I am. Sing it out loud. Yes, she is. Even when I'm a mess, I still put on a vest with an S on my chest. Oh yes, I'm a superwoman. Yes, she is. Oh, yes, I am.
I'm Nazanin with Music Forward Foundation, and you just heard from some of the young voices from our Emerging Artist program. Music Forward is a national nonprofit dedicated to transforming young lives, inspiring careers, and championing a more inclusive music industry. Music is a powerful force in people's lives, and there is a new generation of artists and leaders whose voices will shape the future. And the future is female. Our work connecting communities to the music industry will ensure in the next 100 years, women's voices will be heard in all spaces, and they will be represented and compensated equally as artists, songwriters, producers, and executives. Don't forget to rock the vote and register tonight.
I have many heroes, sheroes. And I would have to say that I always start with my mom. She did all the things that some people would make you believe come from a certain stock in order to be able to accomplish. But instead, she came from the bottom and worked her way alongside my dad to this really, really, really powerful place that she's been able to contribute to society rather than taking away. And I have tried to follow in her example, which is that it does not matter what we do not have. What matters is what we're willing to do and how hard we're willing to work and how good we're willing to be as people to other people in order to accomplish our goals. My mom took us every single election. It didn't matter if it was the school board election, which is super local, the district attorney, the mayoral races, whatever it is, we always went with her as very little kids into those polls. But I would say that also from a movement perspective, Ella Baker would be another person who was a shero to me, because Ella Baker believed that women could be leaders in this movement and that we did not have to model everything that we do or that we've done after the one male charismatic leader. Although those men have been incredibly important, no one can take away Dr. King and, and what he has meant, and Malcolm X and so many other men. But there are incredible women as well who are a part of this leaderful movement. And Ella Baker believed that a number of us should be sitting at the table together, working with diverse ideas to lead our people. And so I think, from my perspective, my list of sheroes runs long and deep, and I take up each one of them, and it helps me make up who I am really working towards being in my own leadership.
100 years from now, terms such as anti-Black racism, voter suppression, and misogynoir will be rightly written into the history books to remember this time, while terms such as equity, accountability, and empathy will guide our public policy, and a love ethic that transforms our culture, one that centers our elders thriving, celebrates the joy of Black children, and welcomes the political leadership of Black women into the highest levels of public service and global decision-making. My name is Malika Redmond, and I am a granddaughter, a daughter, and a mother of a daughter. I am a proud historically Black college and university alumna of Spelman College, and I am the executive director and co-founder of Women Engaged. And since 2014, our signature We Vote, We Rise program has been building the civic participation of our community and empowering the advocacy and political leadership of Black women and girls so that we actualize our 100 years today. Along with Rock the Vote, one of our early partners, we ask you to rise and celebrate the women and girls in your life by voting this year. Vote early, vote safely on election day, or vote by mail, because when we vote, we rise.
In the next 100 years, America will become a much more perfect union because everyone has not only the right to vote, but an easy way to do it, regardless of where they live, what they look like, what hours they work, or for whom they're likely to cast a vote. Our future begins with voting. Voting is our superpower as women, and we should never, ever be afraid to share our power or be silent when another woman's power is in question. That centennial celebration will be a very beautiful thing, because we know that when we vote, we rise.
Hello, I'm Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham of the great state of New Mexico. In the next 100 years, it will no longer be novel for women, in particular women of color, to lead. But today, the promise of equality remains hollow for far too many people of color who face the injustice of America's unaddressed systemic racism. Black and brown Americans face senseless violence at the hands of some of those who were sworn to protect them. Women of color continue to be paid far below their white and male counterparts for the exact same work. Millions of undocumented immigrants face the threat of unfair deportation and family separation at the hands of a federal government that values fear over inclusion. The challenges ahead of us are daunting, but we are not alone in this fight. We stand upon the shoulders of suffragettes who 100 years ago won the right to vote for women. Those brave women understood that so long as one of us is denied our inalienable rights, then we are all held back. It is their fight that we continue as we seek to achieve our nation's promise of equality. We have an opportunity this fall to rise to the occasion. Amidst this moment of crisis, we can set our nation on the path to progress. But to do so, we must vote. Remember, when we vote, we rise.
In the next 100 years, we, young people, are going to make it very simple and easy to vote. It's going to be automatic when you register at the DMV, and we're going to make it like an app that you order food from or post a picture off of on your phone. But in order to do that, we need to partake in the process now. Get registered to vote, make a voting plan, and show up on or before November 3rd and vote. We vote, we rise.
Hi, I'm Mara Kiesling from the National Center for Transgender Equality and a proud transgender woman. In the next 100 years, women can and will achieve equality. And this has to include trans women who face disproportionate amounts of poverty and violence. We can work together to end the stigmatization, marginalization, and criminalization that keeps trans women and a lot of other women down. Women can all rise together, but to do that, we need to work together. We need to take care of each other, and we really need to vote. Too many people worked too hard for our right to vote for us to take it for granted. We should not let anybody take it from us, and we certainly should not give it up on our own. Please register and vote, because when we vote, we rise.
I've been missing you, missing you. Did you know that I still care? I've been trying to, learning to follow through, even when you're not there. Want you to know that it hurts sometimes. Want you to know that it's still alright. I've been missing you, missing you. Yes, it's true, incredible, so indelible. Wanna hold you close, will not let go. Centrifugal, centrifugal. Let us rise and never fall. No more burden
That incredible performance is from Aishia Fukushima, a rap activist, or as she says, a raptivist, and one of the many great women performers you'll hear from tonight. 2020, so much has happened this year, and the stakes are so high for women in this election. And for so many women, they are the essential workers on the front lines in protecting our health and keeping our lives and economy running. Many other women have had their dreams put on hold. I have the great honor in my day job, which is really my night job, in portraying one of America's greatest female icons, Tina Turner, in Tina, the Tina Turner musical on Broadway before it was shut down in March. Tina has taught me so much, but Tina has taught us all that we have power. We are resilient, we are strong, and some of us can even dance in stiletto heels. A little bit later, we'll see a world premiere clip from a Broadway show that was to open the night the theater shut down. Six, the musical, about the 6 ex-wives of Henry VIII learning their own power. But next, an acoustic performance from non-binary singer-songwriter Claude, Alyssa Milano, and some of our amazing women members of Congress, including Nancy Pelosi, the most powerful woman in American political history.
Hello, I am Congresswoman Val Demings. In the next 100 years, women like me will fill the halls of power in America. Women like me, the first in her family to graduate college, will help build an America where social and economic justice is a reality for everyone. I know that the only way to bring real change is through voting. We all need to do it, every single one of us. My amazing friend, John Lewis, devoted his life to fighting for voting rights. Honor him by voting. Wait in line if you have to. Mail your ballot as soon as you can. Take your family, drive your friends to the poll. Make a plan. I can't wait to cast my ballot because I know when we vote, we rise.
In the next 100 years, there will be no more discrimination against trans and gender nonconforming people. That means there'll be no more voter repression, no more housing discrimination, no more employment discrimination, no more violence or murder, because this society will finally have woken up to the fact that trans and gender nonconforming people have always been and will always be, and that gender and sexual diversity are fundamental and essential components of any human society. Trans women and gender nonconforming people will be recognized not just for what we look like, but for our leadership, for our intelligence, for our competency and our capacity. Trans leaders and trans leadership will be respected at the local, state, federal, and international level. Trans and gender nonconforming brilliance will help push towards a world for equality, freedom of expression, and justice for all people.
Hi, my name's Claude, and I'm here to tell you to rock the vote and vote in this election if you can, if you care at all about trans rights and queer lives. This is a song I wrote called Wish You Were Gay. Picture this, you and me in the morning, kissing over the coffee you're pouring. It could be like that every day. Hate it that I wish you were. Hoping that I'm a better replacement for the guys that you're always out chasing. Or should I accept things I can't change? Hate it that I wish you were. I wish you were gay so you could just hold me. Call me your babe instead of your homie. Don't know what to say, but I wish you were gay. I wish you were gay so it would be easy for me to say that I'm catching feelings. And I know you're straight, but I wish you were gay. Now I see you get off of the side. haven't seen you in months, but it's okay. I've forgotten, but I feel the same. Hate it, I still wish you were. You walk up and I'm dreading the small talk. With your boyfriend, he's chatting my ear off. So I lie and I say I can't stay. Hate it that I wish you were. I wish you were gay so you could just hold me. Call me your babe instead of your homie. Don't know what to say, but I wish you were gay. I wish you were gay so it would be easy for me to say that I'm catching feelings. And I know you're straight, but I wish you were gay. We'd be so good. Give me one look. I know you don't mean it when you come to flirt. The dreams that I'm having are just getting worse. I wish you were gay so you could just hold me. Call me your babe instead of your homie. Don't know what to say, but I wish you were gay. I wish you were gay so it would be easy for me to say that I'm catching feelings. I know you're straight, but I wish you were gay. I won't trade for roses for your heart. I won't wait forever in the dark.
In 100 years, we will have workplaces that are safe, fair, and dignified for everyone. I'm Tina Chen, and I'm president and CEO of Time's Up Foundation, and we are working every day to combat sexual harassment and to build workplaces where we are truly invested in all of our workers, women, people of color, LGBTQIA+, disabled workers, older workers. We want everyone to be able to feel safe when they come to work, to be able to know that their workplace is one in which they are valued, where they are paid equally, where they can take paid leave if they are sick or a loved one is sick without risking their paycheck or their job. And when we do that, we will not only have more resilient workers and families, we will have stronger businesses that will be more successful, and we'll have an overall economy that is fair and actually works better for all of us because we will be invested in all of our talent. And to do that, we have to start now because workplaces are on the ballot every year. The kinds of workplace conditions, our employment practices, our rules, the representation that we have in our elected officials on whether those are working people who understand what it's like to be a parent caring for a child when school is not in session or when childcare centers are being closed. And so we have to vote. We have to vote this year. And when we vote, we will rise.
In the next 100 years, instead of talking about what would happen if women received equal pay for equal work, were allowed to reach their full potential in the workplace and society, we'll be talking about how women, despite not having equal access and power in society, have achieved so much. You can thank all the powerful and fierce women for the last 100 years who fought to secure the right to vote, our reproductive rights, and who were on the front lines of the civil rights movement. There's still so much work to be done. The current social and political moment calls upon us to be bold, innovative, and step into our power. It's time. If you've been wondering if your vote matters, it does. When women hold power, from Xers to millennials to Generation Z, good things happen. As the first in my family to graduate from high school, to attend college, and obtain a PhD, in the next 100 years, I hope stories like mine will be the rule and not the exception. I want my daughter and other little girls to know that anything is possible and that we made it happen for them. Women will decide the upcoming election. For those of us who have family members who are incarcerated or undocumented, Our vote is their voice. We vote, we rise.
Hi, everyone. It's Alyssa Milano. One of my heroes is Ida B. Wells. Born into slavery in Mississippi in 1862, she lost both of her parents at age 16. With the help of her grandmother, she went on to become an investigative reporter and awakened the nation to the horrors of lynching. She co-founded the NAACP, and since this is a celebration of our voting rights, she helped win the constitutional right to vote, even though racist voting policies continued for decades to serve as a barrier to women of color. The next 100 years begins with the next 64 days. Get registered today or make sure you're registered. Then make your voting plan. See if you can vote early and safely.
I'm Lara Kaufman, Director of Public Policy for Girls, Inc. Girls, Inc. inspires girls to be strong, smart, and bold through direct service and advocacy. In the next 100 years, we envision a society where all girls have the agency and opportunity to lead in their own lives and bring about change in their communities and in the world. A future where they can resist gender stereotypes, strive freely, accept and appreciate their bodies, be safe in the world, and become economically independent. Girls, Inc. is working alongside girls to create a more just and equitable future. We must all work together to make that future possible. We encourage every young person to use their voice and their vote, and make sure your friends and family members are also registered to vote and vote in the upcoming election. You have the power to create positive change. When we vote, we rise.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise.
Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons, like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise.
Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard.
You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise.
Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs?
Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide.
Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I'll rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I'll rise.
Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave.
I rise.
I rise.
I rise.
In the next 100 years, Americans will vote in greater numbers because today teaches us that our entire way of life is at stake. I'm Andy Pringle from March On, an organization that mobilizes the masses to create political power. And I believe there is no more important issue today than voting rights. For years, too many Americans have sat on the sidelines instead of exercising their right at the ballot box. And now, as our country faces some of the greatest threats in its history, some leaders are trying harder than ever to claw the vote away from those of us who fought the hardest to get it. As a Black woman, I won't let that happen. That's why I wake up every morning and fight on behalf of every American for their right to vote in free, safe, and fair elections. And I won't stop until every one of us can exercise that right without fear or worry, and until more of us choose to. In reality, the ones who should worry are the ones who are trying to hold us down and make us think our votes don't matter, because they know when we vote, we rise.
Hi, I'm Virginia Case, CEO of the League of Women Voters. In the next 100 years, we will see women run and win elected office at every level of our government. The next generation of women and girls will know their power and see themselves reflected in leaders, regardless of race, gender identity, sexual orientation, or background. But it all starts today. It starts with your vote. So get registered to vote. Make your voting plan this election, because when we vote, we rise.
I'm Rachel Lindsay. In the next 100 years, we need to ensure that we are set up for success to protect our safety, to protect our liberties, and to protect our rights. And that starts with what we do at the polls in this upcoming election. 100 years ago, women gained the right to vote, and it was not until decades later that women who looked like me could exercise their right to vote on the issues that impacted their lives. To vote is power. It gives you the right to express what is vital to your very existence, and it puts support behind those in power you trust to execute that for you. I remember being 18 years old, and I remember being so excited when I turned 18 because I knew that I could exercise my right to vote. This is a true story. I'm not kidding. I remember wearing my t-shirts and everything because I was so excited that this was something I finally got to do. And part of that reason is because I knew there were many people who fought and died for me to have this right, and I knew I would never not honor them by utilizing it. I knew that I was standing on the foundation that pioneers like Ida B. Wells established for me. It's so important that we vote. We are in dire times right now where so many of our liberties are being threatened. Voting locally, regionally, and nationally is an effective way to fight and to protect them. We hope you'll use your voice at the ballot box this November. But listen, don't just stop there. Your work can't be done just there. You also need to encourage others to vote as well. Encourage them to vote early. Encourage them to request and send in their absentee ballots early. And encourage them to educate themselves on the candidates that they're willing to vote for, but also on the groups that support those candidates. It's just as important. Don't just vote, be an informed voter. We vote, we rise. See you at the polls.
In the next 100 years, Planned Parenthood hopes to see all voices represented and participating in our democracy without barriers or discrimination. We acknowledge the historic moment of the ratification of the 19th Amendment. We also recognize that 100 years ago, women of color, particularly Black women, were left out of the 19th Amendment, all despite the work of Black women within the suffrage movement. Planned Parenthood recognizes and honors their legacy by helping register communities of color and encouraging everyone, especially the youth, to make their voices heard and vote. So join us, rock the vote.
My name is Annabelle Jin.
My name is Opsia Bibi.
My name is Shruti Gautam.
My name is Hana Oluni.
My name is Ashna, and I'm 16 years old, and I can't vote in this election.
And I can't vote in this election.
I cannot vote in this upcoming election. So you cannot sit this one out.
We're here to ask all eligible voters to vote for our future, to give us a chance at a future.
Vote for us to be able to live in a healthy and sustainable planet.
Vote for us to be able to run for office and be represented in the halls of power.
Vote so that no girls have to miss school because of their periods, no matter their income. Vote.
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 Vote so that no one can make choices about our bodies but us.
Vote for future female Fortune 500 CEOs and future Madam Presidents.
Vote to reaffirm that love is love.
Is love.
Is love.
Is love.
Vote.
Vote.
Vote. Vote for the girls in your life that can't.
Vote like our lives depend on it. Because they do.
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 As Speaker of the House, as a woman, it is a special honor to join friends from across America for Rock the Vote's Democracy Summer. I'm proud to bring the greetings of the House Democrats, the most diverse caucus in history, over 60% women, people of color, and LGBTQ. This month, as America commemorates 100 years since women won the right to vote, we do so serving with more than 105 women in the House. 90 of them Democrats. When the 19th Amendment was passed, the headlines read, "Women given the right to vote." Not true. Women were not given anything. Women mobilized and marched, were beaten and bloodied, and were even jailed to win that right. Today, we stand on their shoulders, charged with carrying on the unfinished work advanced by heroes, from Seneca Falls to Selma to Stonewall. As we mark this centennial, we must channel the pioneering spirit of the suffragists to redeem the full promise of voting rights for all, advancing a future in which all women and all Americans have access to the ballot. Our nation needs the voices of every voter, particularly young people, if we are to combat the many injustices facing our nation, from police brutality and racial injustice to injustice in healthcare and jobs to environmental injustice. And as you know, when we vote, we rise. My message to you, know your power. Know that you have a voice that is uniquely yours and one that our country urgently needs during this time. Thank you for your patriotism and for your enthusiasm and for your leadership. When women succeed, America succeeds.
100 years of women's vote for some, but not all women is one reflection of an America where not all voices have been heard and not all stories have been told. In fact, many of us still haven't heard the story of the Native women who inspired America's suffragettes in their fight for voting rights a century ago. We'll hear that story tonight. And we're about to hear a performance from Latin Grammy nominee, Carla Morisson. But first, it was one of America's popular TV sitcoms, and then it was reimagined by its creators and new collaborators. One Day at a Time is back with a Cuban-American family living in LA, and it just got picked up for a new run on CBS. We hear from its co-showrunner, Gloria Calderon-Kellett, and two of its bright stars, Justina Machado and Isabella Gomez.
My name is Gloria Calderon-Kellett, executive producer and co-showrunner of One Day at a Time. Our show brings viewers into the home of a modern Latinx family, tackling life, well, one day at a time, like we all are, right? Our intention in making this show is to balance honest storytelling with important issues facing families today. Led by the powerful veteran nurse practitioner and single mom, Penelope Alvarez, the series follows her family's journey along with her old school mother, Lydia, her activist teenage daughter, Elena, and her charming teenage son, Alex, who are all growing up before our eyes and trying to figure out the complexities of life. I have been eager and honored to share the real, often untold stories of women, particularly Latinas, throughout my career. Our community is complex, diverse, rich, and fabulous, and we are a force to be reckoned with at the ballot box. Today, we celebrate 100 years since the first women were granted the right to vote in our country. But for many Latinas, that right was not achieved until decades later, in 1975, when the Voting Rights Act was amended to include and protect language minority citizens. It's only been 45 years since our hermanas were welcomed at the polls, and we cannot sit out now. The stakes have never been higher for our community and for our country than in this election. As we face racism, violent policing, a global pandemic, economic crisis, and more, we must make our voices heard. Register to vote today and make sure your friends and family are registered. Yes, even your abuelita, because when we vote, we rise. We will share with you the words of Richard Blanco, the LGBTQ Cuban-American poet laureate who wrote One Today.
One sun rose on us today, kindled over our shores, peeking over the Smokies, greeting the faces of the Great Lakes, spreading a simple truth across the Great Plains, then charging across the Rockies. One light, waking up rooftops, under each one a story told by our silent gestures moving behind windows. My face, your face, millions of faces in morning's mirrors, each one yawning to life, crescendoing into our day. Pencil yellow school buses, the rhythm of traffic lights, fruit stands, apples, limes, and oranges arrayed like rainbows begging our praise. Silver trucks heavy with oil or paper, bricks or milk, teeming over highways alongside us, on our way to clean tables, read ledgers, or save lives, to teach geometry or ring up groceries as my mother did for 20 years, so I could write this poem.
all of us as vital as the one light we move through. The same light on blackboards with lessons for the day, equations to solve, history to question, or atoms imagined. The I have a dream, we keep dreaming, or the impossible vocabulary of sorrow that won't explain the empty desks of 20 children marked absent today and forever. Many prayers, but one light breathing color into stained glass windows, life into the faces of bronze statues, warmth onto the steps of our museums and park benches. Two, as mothers watch children slide into the day. One ground, our ground, rooting us to every stalk of corn, every head of wheat, sown by sweat and hands gleaning coal or planting windmills in deserts and hilltops that keep us warm, hands digging trenches, routing pipes and cables, hands as worn as my father's cutting sugarcane, so my brother and I could have books and shoes. The dust of farms and deserts, cities and plains mingled by one wind, our breath, breathe. Hear it through the day's gorgeous din of honking cabs, buses launching down avenues, the symphony of footsteps, guitars and screeching subways, the unexpected songbird on your clothesline. Hear squeaky playground swings, trains whistling or whispers across cafe tables. Hear the doors we open for each other all day, saying hello, shalom, buongiorno, howdy, namaste, or buenos dias in the language my mother taught me, and every language spoken into one wind, carrying our lives without prejudice as these words break from my lips.
One sky since the Appalachians and Sierras claimed their majesty, and the Mississippi and Colorado worked their way to the sea. Thank the work of our hands, weaving steel into bridges, finishing one more report for the boss on time, stitching another wound or uniforms, the first brushstroke on a portrait, or the last floor of the Freedom Tower, jutting into the sky that yields to our resilience. One sky towards which we sometimes lift our eyes, tired from work, some days guessing at the weather of our lives, some days giving thanks for a love that loves you back, sometimes praising a mother who knew how to give, or forgiving a father who couldn't give what you wanted. We head home through the gloss of rain or weight of snow or the plum blush of the dusk, but always home, always under one sky, our sky, and always one moon like a silent drum tapping on every rooftop and every window of one country, all of us facing the stars. Hope a new consolation waiting for us to map it, waiting for us to name it.
Together.
In the next 100 years, we will have fewer anniversaries that don't include all of us. 100 years ago, some of us got the right to vote, but not all of us. Women of color, queer women, and transgender people were often excluded. Using our vote is a tool to make sure that we are included in our future. And that future is one where we will be able to live our lives authentically, have access to safe, affordable, accessible, and affirming healthcare. Our future will be one where Black Lives Matter and where everyone has access to quality education. Our future will include all of us. We vote, we rise.
Hi, I'm Lauren Potter. I'm a film and a TV actress, an activist, a dancer, and of course, a producer. In the next 100 years, I like to see in America that understands that disability is a diversity, and that our diversity as a people makes us stronger as a nation. 30 years ago this summer, the year I was born, people with disabilities put pressure on our elected leaders, even pulling themselves out of wheelchairs and capital steps to make a point. And it worked. The Americans with Disabilities Act became the law. I played a cheerleader for 6 years on Glee, so I'm pretty used to cheering on progress. This November, more than 4 million Americans will be able to vote for the first time. If they get registered and knock down any kind of barriers standing in their way. So I'm so encouraged to see all the political energy this summer. But there are 2 more things you still have to do. Vote. Look into voting early or voting by mail. If you have a disability, and get 3 friends to vote as well, because when we vote, we rise!
Hi, I'm Carly Zachin.
And I'm Danielle Weisberg, and we're the co-founders and co-CEOs of The Skimm.
In the next 100 years, we will see women showing up to the polls in record numbers, confidently making their voices heard.
We started The Skimm 8 years ago to help millennial women live their smartest lives and make confident choices that are right for them. And we strongly believe that one of the most powerful actions you can take is to vote.
With millions of millennials relocated due to COVID-19 and election rules constantly changing, this voting bloc is facing one of the most complicated elections in history.
And the stakes have never been higher. Millennials are now the largest living adult generation in this country, and their voter turnout has been on the rise since 2014, especially among millennial women.
This year, if every millennial voted, we could decide the election.
So make your voting plan and help your friends, your family, your coworkers, anyone you know, make sure they're making their voting plan too. We're so proud to partner with Rock the Vote to get you started by skimming the voting process all the way through Election Day.
So first you have to register. Then you need to make sure your friends are registered. Get informed, then make sure your friends are getting informed. And then vote, and make sure your friends vote too. Because when we vote, we rise.
I'm Cecile Richards from Supermajority Education Fund. In the next 100 years, we will live in a country that values the lives, work, and families of all women. We will continue to fight for equal pay, student loan debt relief, and access to affordable health care. Women are the majority of voters, and they will continue to decide every election, but only if we register to vote and make sure no one is left behind. The Supermajority Education Fund is dedicated to ensuring that every woman has access to the resources, training, and support she needs to cast her ballot fairly and safely. Because when we vote, we rise.
Hello, I'm Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, reminding you today that when we vote, we rise. The world joined our city this summer in mourning the passing of our Congressman, John Lewis. In one of his last public statements, Congressman Lewis said, "In our country, the right to vote is precious, almost sacred." Although the United States Constitution made it possible for women to vote nearly 100 years ago, from that moment to the Civil Rights Movement and today, we are still fighting to preserve that almost sacred right. As we celebrate this milestone, we must continue to protect the precious right to vote at all costs. Just as courageous women have gone before us and they have served as a source of inspiration, it's now our turn to teach young women and girls the value of using their voices and their vote to maintain their seat at the table. Women have shown us that we hold strength in numbers at the polls, and I know that we will do so again in November. Let us multiply the power of our own votes and make sure that our loved ones and friends are registered and exercise their right to vote as well. Let us rise up and rock the vote like we have never done before, because we know that when women vote, we all rise. For more information, please visit rockthevote.org.
Hi, I'm Erin from She Should Run. In the next 100 years, our government will be representative of the population it serves. And that means that half of all elected offices nationwide will be held by women of all political leanings, ethnicities, sexual identities, and backgrounds. Currently, women are less likely than men to run for office and therefore seriously underrepresented. So in order for us to close that gap, we at She Should Run motivate women from all walks of life to see their potential in elected office. Luckily, we can all play a role that will have a significant impact this year and beyond by encouraging women to run and learning more about the importance of women's representation. We hope you'll take action and join us in transforming the face of government this November, because when we vote, we rise.
The Haudenosaunee is a confederacy of 6 nations. Our confederacy was formed over 1,000 years ago on the shores of Onondaga Lake, bringing first original 5 warring nations together. The Mohawks, the Oneidas, the Onondagas, the Cayugas, and then the Senecas. And then the Tuscaroras didn't join us later until 1713. And we were given this great message of peace, for unity, friendship, and using the good mind. The Haudenosaunee are also known as the Iroquois, which is a pejorative term which means black snakes. That was given to us by the French. And we're also known as 6 nations, which the English referred to us as, but we call ourselves Haudenosaunee, people of the Longhouse. There's something that most people don't understand or know about us, is that the United States system of government is patterned after our government with the 3 branches of government. They patterned that style of government, asking us to bring 2 representatives to Philadelphia at the time to help them to try to bring forth the same system of government for themselves. So when our men arrived, the first thing that they noticed was that there was no women. So the first thing that they asked them was, "Where's your women?" I mean, because it was so unusual for women to not be part of our government. And when they were told that they weren't going to be allowed to be a part of it, I think that they were really shocked. So they patterned their system of government after ours, but they left out the women. They left out 2 very important things, the women and the voice of Mother Earth. And so we always say that the United States hasn't become a full democracy until 1920, but in my mind, it hasn't become a full democracy yet because we still aren't including the voice of Mother Earth.
The women who became suffragists had close connections with the Haudenosaunee. They all had one-on-one contact with Haudenosaunee. And what they saw was a world that was the mirror opposite of their own. For a non-Native woman to have any sense of her own identity, she had to go against both religion and cultural beliefs. Women were dead in the law. They had no legal existence once they married. It was also believed that women were biologically inferior to men. Women had no control of their own bodies. Husbands could beat their wives as long as they did not inflict permanent damage. Husbands had the legal right to rape their wives. Women had no right to their children. So when women began to think about, could our lives be different, they had to have seen something that gave them that idea. And what they saw were their nearby neighbors, the Haudenosaunee. What they saw was a world that gave them the opposite of what their lives were. This was a world in which women had control of their own bodies. It was a world in which women had political voice equal with that of man. And seeing that made them know that it was possible.
Our Haudenosaunee women are matrilineal. We're not a matriarch, which is very different. It's not about power and control. It's about balance. Everything follows the women's line. Your children, your clan family, your land. Even our leaders are picked by our clan mothers, our women. And so we watch young men as they grow and see what kind of character that they have. It's always based on the principles of good character. They choose that leader for that family, and then if they were to get off the path or not maybe take up their duties and responsibilities as they're supposed to, they are reprimanded and kind of pushed back on the path. If they continue to keep falling off the path, then they have the right of removal, which is very different from, the U.S. system. I don't think that the U.S. system of government would be the same today if it was first they were picked on principles of good character, and secondly had the right of removal. I think we would see something very different.
Matilda Jocelyn Gage, who was one of the major leaders of the women's rights movement, the National Women's Suffrage Association, along with Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony, she described the Haudenosaunee in this way: never was justice more perfect, never was civilization higher. And she's describing not a reversal of patriarchy. It's actually one in which it's egalitarian, it's balanced, and it is women having a special spiritual importance because of their creation of life along with Mother Earth.
We're still here, thriving and surviving, and that we're still practicing our ancient practices that we have for thousands of years, not only just in our council meetings, but in our communities as well, and inside of our families. And it's important for people to understand that we haven't gone anywhere, and we're not going to go anywhere. You know, if we can impart anything, hopefully it is that interconnectedness to all other things, because we see the earth as our mother. And so her being a female entity, that relationship is so important. So I always ask people, well, how do you treat your own mother? How would you treat Mother Earth? How do you treat your own mother? Everything on earth is connected. You know, we all have different responsibilities. We're not above one another, we're equal.
Hi everyone, my name's Carla Morisson, and I'm here to remind you to rock the vote, because we are all able to go vote, register, so we can change our future. I'm here to invite you and remind you that. Please tell that to your family and friends. And thanks to Rock the Vote for inviting me. My next song is gonna be Eres Tú, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Feel happy for a couple of minutes, and don't forget to go register and vote.
Desperté con ganas de besarte. Tengo una sed de acariciarte, entregarme a ti y no soltarte. Eres tan embriagante, eres tú. Eres tú. Quiero contemplarte sin contar el tiempo, dibujarte con mis puros recuerdos, en mi mente marcarme tus labios, tus besos, estar aquí otro momento. Eres tú, ay, ay, oh. Eres tú. Ese imán de una preciosa energía, es tu alma que envía señales a mi cuerpo, porque este sigue pidiendo ese aroma de ti que me invita al acecho. Eres tú, ay, ay, oh. Eres tú, ay, ay, no. Eres tú, eres tú. Tenemos planes diferentes,
everybody, and go rock your vote.
Please consider how you can support these organizations working for justice and the empowerment of women and girls. Please go to rockthevote.org to make sure you are registered. We've got that Broadway clip from Six the Musical, and we are going to hear the spectacular music of Lion Babe.
In the next 100 years, my hope is that America will become a much more perfect union because everyone not only has the right to vote, but can do so easily without any threat of voter suppression. Since this is the 100-year celebration of our voting rights, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one of my heroes, Ida B. Wells. She was born into slavery in Mississippi in 1862 and lost both her parents at age 16. But with the help of her grandmother, she went on to become an investigative reporter and awakened the nation to the horrors of lynching. She also was a co-founder of the NAACP and a fierce advocate for women's suffrage. Now, she did help to win the constitutional right to vote, but racist voting policies served as a barrier to women of color for decades until the Voting Rights Act of 1965 helped remove them. But our work isn't over. Voting is one of our superpowers as women, and we should never be afraid to share our power or be silent when another woman's power is in question. Now that centennial celebration will be a beautiful thing. We must work together to make this future possible. So make sure you're registered. Make sure your friends and family are registered. And vote. Because when we vote, we rise.
In the next 100 years, I hope to see a future in which every single student has access to an equitable education. Student Voice has been working tirelessly over the years to ensure co-equal partnerships between students and adults. This year, we're turning our focus to school board elections occurring across the country. COVID-19 has exacerbated inequities that have always existed within our school systems. And it has also proven to us the importance of having pro-equity minded people sitting on those boards of education. That's why we will be equipping students with the tools they need to engage with the election, to host town halls, to truly identify the candidates that will bring about equitable change in their local communities. We want to uplift students as storytellers, journalists, activists, but most importantly, as people who are deserving of high quality education and high quality of life. When we vote, we rise. Hi, I'm Cree Cicchino. In the next 100 years, we will continue the work of dismantling and rethinking the systems of America built for and by white supremacy. We will work to end police brutality and cleanse law enforcement at all levels of government of the racial discrimination which has plagued this country for decades. We must hold those in office accountable for the harm that they've caused with their apathy and elect the people who will do the work. And for young voters with white privilege like myself, recognize our responsibility in these movements. Recognize our responsibility in cleaning the mess which has cost the lives and safety of countless Black Americans for a very long time. One way to do so? Vote, register, have your friends and family do the same, and then make your voice heard this election. Because when we vote, we rise.
Hi, I'm Ray Saragosa, and it's such an honor to be performing today for We Vote, We Rise. Today, I want to honor the Native American women of the Iroquois Confederacy who truly inspired the suffrage movement. It's been 100 years since women were given the right to vote, and our ancestors fought so hard for us. So I hope you will vote, because when we vote, we rise. And this is my song, American Dream. I've been thinking about the news. Daddy leaves it on all day through. I've been thinking about the wars. And to be honest, I can't take it anymore. I hear you every day. The awful words you say. And hate can't be the face of the American dream. about my life and how one day I want to be a mother and a wife. I've been scared of that thought too. In a world of struggle, what are we gonna do? I hear you every day saying it's gonna be okay, but hate can't be the face of the American dream. And I know we've got a long way to go, but I've got to believe that change is a choice, and it can start with me. And I've been thinking about our mother and how they took her away from her people, put her in a boarding school, away from her brother, sister, and culture. I can hear her every night saying we've got to make this right, 'cause hate can't be the face of the American dream. And I know we've got a long way to go, but I've got to believe that change is a choice, and it can start with me. And change is a choice, and it can start with me. And change is a choice, and it can start with you.
In the next 100 years, the work that we do at Ignite, a movement of young women who are ready and eager to become the next generation of political leaders, will cease to exist, because they will be the generation of young women who are leading our cities, our communities, our states, and ultimately this country. There will be a deep cultural shift as we move further and further from each decade, and ultimately will really shift the way in which we all participate in our democracy. We vote, we rise.
Hi there, I'm Lucy Moss, one of the creators of Six, the musical, and I am so honoured to be part of Rock the Vote's We Vote, We Rise event, honouring the power of women. It is exciting to recognise the centennial of some women's right to vote in America, but there is still so much more to be done to ensure equal voting rights for all. And there's so many female identifying and non-binary people throughout history and today who have been working tirelessly to ensure that voting is possible, and they often get left out of the story. And you can see this, across time, across continents, across race, age, religion, you name it. Female identifying legends have been there working to make voting possible. And when Toby and I were writing Six the Musical, on one level we were creating it to tell the untold story of 6 specific women whose stories often get forgotten about, or rather get written from the perspective of their husbands and written by men. So that's on one level why we wrote it. But the real reason that we wrote Six, and we made it a pop concert, and we made it contemporary, we ask our queens to sing in their own accents wherever they are in the world, is because Six is actually about female identifying people today as themselves, claiming space, commanding the room, using their voice and having people listen. And we all come together and we actually use our voices, we can make a difference, and we can make amazing things happen. So coming up is a quick look at Six the Musical live on Broadway, and you're going to see some incredibly talented women. Oh my goodness, they are so amazing, telling the stories of people who, to some extent, didn't get the opportunity to do that for themselves in their lifetime. So I hope you enjoy this snippet of Six, and most importantly, please remember to register to vote. Come on, what would Catherine Parr do? Huh? What would she do? She'd register to vote. You know she would.
divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. New York City, we are! Listen up, let me tell you a story. Welcome to the show, to the history mix. Switching up the flow as we add the prefix. Everybody knows that we used to be six wives, but now we're ex-wives. You must think that I'm crazy. You wanna replace me, baby? Get down, you dirty rascal. Get down. You can build me up, you can tear me down, you can try, but I'm unbreakable. One, I'm high, no category. Too many years lost in history. We're free to take our crown and glory. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more minute. We're six.
In the next 100 years, Vote Run Lead will usher in thousands of women to pick up the mantle and run as they are. Hi, I'm Zenaida, Director of Digital Strategy at Vote Run Lead, and we believe in the political power of women. We also believe that women can have any public office seat that they want. And we have a few alums that are currently holding seats throughout the country. But we also know the importance of the vote. And we know that it's important that we mobilize in our communities to get the vote out, to get people to the polling stations and have them cast their ballots. So we hope that you are also on the same mission with us. The more people we get out to vote, the more effective and healthy our democracy will be. So we vote, we rise.
In the next 100 years, women of all backgrounds will continue to make their voices heard. We will keep leading this nation in a direction that values each and every family, and we will always make sure to have a seat at the table. I am proud to be part of such a strong coalition of women who don't back down from what they believe in. Women do more than vote. They stand up for what they believe in, and we make a difference. We must recognize that women have a big part to play in leading this nation in the right direction. The truth is, when more women are in office, our government works better for all of us, and we must elect women in November. I'm excited that we are celebrating women today, because when I first ran for this seat, over and over again, people kept telling me that I needed to wait my turn. They insisted that I could not win this seat. However, every time someone told me that I couldn't win, it only motivated me to fight and to run harder. So if you're considering running for office, just do it. Run for office. Use your talents. Use your gift. Use your skills. All of these things that we need in our elected officials. So continue to fight for what you believe in and do what you can to contribute to your community. When we work together, we're able to accomplish so much more. And remember to vote this November, because when we vote, we rise.
I'm Randy Weingarten, President of the American Federation of Teachers. In the next 100 years, women will continue to create and lead, invent and imagine. Women will discover, teach, care, heal, and shape the world. Women will help us recover from this pandemic and protect the environment. But it will take our vote to make all this and more possible. Your vote is your voice. Your vote is your future. Voting won't mean winning everything, but without voting, we won't win anything. And this election is the most consequential of my, and I bet your lifetime. This election will determine our country's democracy and its future. So don't lose your voice. Don't lose your power. Register. Get your friends to register. Become a poll worker and vote and encourage others to vote. And when we act together, we win together. And when we vote, we rise.
I'm Fatima Goss-Graves, president of the National Women's Law Center. In the next 100 years, we can build a world where women and girls can work and live and learn with safety and with dignity and equity. We can craft solutions to the problems that have meant Latinas lose millions to the pay gap over the course of their lifetimes. We can craft solutions that actually match the care needs for families and that treat care workers with dignity. And we can make it so people have access to the health care they need when they need it, and that their decisions about their lives and their futures, whether to parent, when to parent, and frankly, how to parent, that we have systems in place to support those decisions. And we can trust, follow, invest in the leadership of survivors, in the leadership of Black women, of brown women. I believe the work of the National Women's Law Center and the work of this movement for gender justice can drive us forward, and it can create the laws, policies, and conditions to hold a better future. But we need you. We need you to act. We need you to vote, because when we vote, we rise.
Ready for the healing.
All right, my people. We are here with Rock the Vote. We are Lion Babe. And you better vote. Use your voice. Get your family, get your friends. We gotta change the world. Now let's jump high.
Cutting through the haze to our glory days. We won't give up, never too late. I'm out on my own. Work what I got to get so. Running right into the sun. Oh, hey, I don't so high. I got it right. I don't so high. I got it right. Oh, hey, hey, you jump high, jump high. I jump so. USA, you know we jumping so. Hey, come on. I don't so. I don't so. Ooh, oh, oh. So high, so high. I don't so. Hey. Astro roar. What? Okay. Peace to this planet. Rock the vote, baby. We are Lion Babe. Have a good night.
Thank you, and thanks to Rock the Vote, Sisters Rising, and all the amazing organizations and individuals lifting women up and making democracy better for us all. You know what to do. When you dive out of this, text RISE, R-I-S-E, to 788-683. Because when we vote, we rise.